You're tuned in to the GrowMail Podcast. I'm Sergio, Director of Marketing here at GrowMail. Across from me is our CEO, Liam, who knows direct mail inside and out. The setup here is simple. I ask the basic questions, and Liam answers them straight. No buzzwords, no promises, no sales pitch. It's just how direct mail actually works and what it costs and what your customers do when it lands. So let's get into it today.
Sergio, you have like a perfect podcasting voice. This is impressive.
You know, it's that microphone that I have sitting on my desk all day. See, it makes me want to do this. It's something that I have to do. But I'm glad we're here today. Appreciate you joining Liam and letting us do this. I think it's really important that we get this information out to our customers. But I think before we get into a lot of the details and into a lot of the specific topics that center around direct mail, I want to give people a clean introduction on who GrowMail is. Who do we serve? Why should anybody listen to us on the subject of direct mail? And let's just kind of get into it today. So in one sentence, what is GrowMail, or who is GrowMail?
Sure. So GrowMail is a direct mail software company, an official USPS mailing provider that empowers businesses to send postcards, letters, and every door direct mail campaigns.
So tell us a little bit about some of these services. EDDM is the one that we hear all the time, every door direct mail. Tell us a little bit about what that means and how that separates it from, a typical mail list or something that you would normally do.
Yeah, so every door direct mail was created by the USPS to make it easy for a small business to send a direct mail campaign to neighborhoods that business served. Traditionally, direct mail was difficult to send. You had to find a mailing provider, identify an audience, and come up with a list and create a design. And even with the simplified Every Door direct mail program, we found that marketers were struggling with it. So where GrowMail comes in is we put all of that into a single software platform where a small business or a marketer targeting a particular area can mail a campaign in 5 minutes or less.
So when I hear software platform, it scares me a little bit, maybe because I don't know anything about software. So who are the types of customers that GrowMail serves? Is it everyday normal people, everyday normal businesses? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's anyone with a local presence. So, for example, dentists use it to recruit new patients. An HVAC provider may use it to find households that need to have services done. Any time that you need to reach a given neighborhood, we give you the tools that allow you to target the right homes and then ultimately track the campaign so that it could be held to the same standards as a digital marketing campaign, like a Google Ads or Facebook campaign.
Is this something that's cost affordable for like small businesses? I know you kind of mentioned like HVAC and dentists and stuff, but can your like cleaning company or your cleaning lady handle something like this?
Yeah, it scales really well. It could be anything from a few households to millions of homes. And what we're finding is that oftentimes that the local cleaner is struggling because all of the Google ads in their neighborhood have been bid up. So for many people that don't know, basically the way Google ads works is that you have different search terms and you can buy ads against them, and then a live auction is going on where you're competing to basically bidding for each individual search, and what we're finding is that those keywords can become very expensive.
Yeah,
and it gets to the point where they're paying $500 to $800 to acquire a new customer. For someone that might only do $400 of business with them in the first month. So we empower them to find the right households to reach. So that we can lower their cost of customer acquisition.
I mean, Google isn't one of the world's most valuable companies for no reason, right?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. We use Google Ads ourselves, so they play a role. But when I take a look at GrowMail and I'm asked about who our competitors are, I don't really see other direct mail companies as our competitor. At the end of the day, we're trying to lower the cost of customer acquisition when compared to a Facebook ad or a Google ad or any sort of a programmatic purchasing experience.
So how long has GrowMail been around? as a company?
Yeah, GrowMail is over 20 years old, and we've been iterating with the software every year since.
So you kind of mentioned a little bit about the competitors, but how is GrowMail? What separates GrowMail from like a generic print shop? Let's say I own a cleaning company. I go to a print shop and I say, I want to print these postcards, and now I got to figure out how to put them in the mail. What really sets GrowMail apart from that?
Yeah, I can think of three things top of mind. First is ease of use. We can send a campaign in 5 minutes and have it in the mail stream in 5 to 7 business days, which is pretty quick for direct mail. And some of our software can even trigger those postcards in 24 hours or less. The second is cost. The biggest cost in a direct mail campaign is postage. And our software is automatically finds postage efficiencies so that we can lower the cost of a campaign directly compared to all of our competitors. We can generally execute those campaigns on certain dates to certain neighborhoods for significantly less than they can. And the last is attribution. At the end of the day, if you talk to a small business or a marketer about the challenges that they're facing, there's two common themes. The first is that they need new customers, and then the second is they're spending money on marketing, but they don't necessarily know what channels are working. So that's why we think that tying in tracking and attribution to every single campaign is a responsibility that we have to make sure that we're being productive for our clients.
Does GrowMail, I know you kind of talked a little bit about attribution. Is there something that like ties in with email campaigns and things like that?
Yeah, so we don't send email, but it can definitely be part of a strategy to engage with a customer both via email and then following up with the direct mail piece. We see that a lot in retargeting. Yeah. So for example, you might have a campaign that goes to customers who haven't purchased or used your services in the last 45 days. Oftentimes though, today, email is extremely cluttered. And a lot of services like Gmail do a good job of filtering out messages that aren't necessarily relevant or are considered promo, and they go into a folder that's never opened. But what we find is that everybody checks their mail, and it's a great way to get your presence out there, and get a deal hung up on a refrigerator. So that you get a call a few days later.
Yeah, definitely. I'm Gen X, so I like to touch things. I like to actually get things in the mail. I'm sure like a lot of people, I have a separate email address that's just strictly for junk mail, right? Junk email. There's no connection there that I have, and it's just accepting all that information. But when I walk out to the mailbox and I actually see something and it catches my attention, especially if it has to do with my house or if it's something that I need, an AC service or something like that, some of those services that you had mentioned, it really grabs my attention. And I do think that direct mail is, it's kind of that weird thing where it's like, well, it's kind of old school, but you know what? Old school works. So there's a reason why it's still being used today.
A lot of times people think that, direct mail is for reaching, the elderly. And, it's great for Medicaid campaigns and things like that. But when you take a look at response rates, millennials and Gen Zers are actually one of the highest converting cohorts of consumers that respond to direct mail pieces. So it's sort of creating a renaissance in the space because it's a great way to reach the younger households and the younger families. Gotcha.
We kind of talked a little bit about the beginning. We touched it briefly, but could you talk a little bit about some of the products? I know we mentioned like EDDM right off the bat, which obviously, by the way, let me circle back here. USPS certified provider, GrowMail, works very closely with the United States Postal Service. But tell us a little bit more about some of those products that GrowMail offers.
Yeah, I'm going to be oversimplifying, but it really comes down to three core products. The first is area mail, and that is a combination of saturation mail, every door direct mail, and our discount zone product, which is the product that I alluded to earlier that allows our customers to save significantly on postage. I mentioned 3 products there, and that's confusing. And the way the postal system is set up is confusing. In fact, the direct mail handbook from the USPS is over 800 pages long.
Sounds like a government operation.
It is bureaucracy at its finest, and it's confusing. And the way we've set the platform up is that you don't need to know a single thing about direct mail. We help you target the right neighborhoods and use the right types of postage to deliver to those individual mailboxes and get results.
For some of those people that might be a little scared, and they go to growmail.com, they fill out their information, someone's there to help them, right?
Yeah, so we have marketing coaches on staff every day that can coach you on how to grow your business, how to optimize your campaign, and lower your cost of customer acquisition.
That's great. All the help in the world is always great, especially when it comes to a new product or service that you may not be familiar with. But
second product, should we go? So the
let's
first
go through
is
it.
Area Mail. I want to reach a whole neighborhood.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
So we have the Area Mail platform, and then the second is targeted mail. So everybody has targeting, creating the right personas and reaching the right people as top of mind. The way postage works is that it's significantly more expensive to mail to individual households than it is entire neighborhoods. So in many cases, reaching an entire neighborhood through the area mail platform is a better value. But the second product that GrowMail offers is targeted mail. With targeted mail, you can bring your own list, and we help process that list to make sure that it's going to be deliverable. And if you don't have a list, we have a audience builder tool, and that allows you to target everything from how much home equity a home has to interests. Like, for example, are they interested in kayaking or soccer, or in different types of arts? And it really allows you to dial into the right households to receive that campaign. And then the last product is more towards engineers, product managers, and software companies, and that's our set of APIs. We have a product called Direct Mail Manager. It empowers anyone to connect their software with a few lines of code and target direct mail in 24 hours or less. And what's really cool about that is that it's all digitally printed, which means that anything you do on a website or an email campaign, you could do on a postcard. So for example, if you wanted to include a Google satellite image of someone's house, maybe with solar panels arrayed on top, you'd be able to send that person with that mock-up right to their house. And we see it a lot with like realtors showing appraisals and recently sold homes and things like that.
So I've gotten those in the mail, and I've always wondered where those came from. Now I know they came from GrowMail. So
there you go.
I like that. Where does GrowMail operate? Is it nationwide?
Yeah, so we're in all 50 states.
That's great. No problems reaching a local neighborhood in Indiana or anything like that, right?
No, everywhere from the bottom of the Grand Canyon to Manhattan. And we have a distributed print network. So oftentimes we're able to find additional savings by printing closer to the households that your campaign reaches.
So let's say I'm a HVAC provider in Florida. You're going to use somebody.
We would use somebody in Florida in that case. Yeah,
keeps the cost down. That's great. Just a couple more questions, and we'll get it wrapped up here, so we're not going too long. Give us a short version of how you ended up running a direct mail company. Like, who grows up and says they want to run a direct mail company?
It's crazy. I think it was my destiny, because if you take my name, Liam, and you put it backwards, it spells mail. So I think I was made for this. But
never noticed that, by the way.
I'm a professional ski bum, and I wanted to be a hockey player. So direct mail was never an industry that I thought I would get in. I have a background in building software, e-commerce, and scaling companies, and I was essentially sitting next to a CEO that led a direct mail company, and he asked for some insight. And I was like, Steve, this isn't worth my time. Like, your product is dead. Why would anybody send something in the mail? Like, when you could target them via email or retarget through display ads and things like that. And he said, you know what, you're wrong, and I'll prove it to you. So he walked me through some case studies where local service providers, everything from dentists to cleaning services, were outperforming their Google Ads campaigns with direct mail. Wow. And I was astonished. But then I realized that it was incredibly difficult to send. So from that point on, I was determined to figure out a solution that would empower marketers to send direct mail for less and make it easier than ever before.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, I think you're the perfect leader for this GrowMail here.
It's been a fun journey.
It sure has. It seems like it. Last question for you, Liam. For business owners listening right now, obviously that's why we're putting this up here to get the information out, and they're thinking maybe direct mail could work for me in some way. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say first, set up your attribution before you send any marketing campaign. It doesn't matter if you're a restaurateur or a cleaning service. You should know the success criteria of your campaign before you ever send a piece. And then once you figured out how you're going to track it, could be call tracking, could be a unique discount code that's redeemed at the point of sale, or a landing page that's requesting an appointment. Once you've figured out what you're trying to influence in consumer behavior, then pull up the software and figure out how to target the right audience and run a test campaign. I think the most important part of any marketing strategy is to test several channels, several types of creative and offers, and figure out what's dialed in, and then ramp up what's working and quickly sunset what's failing. And then from that, you'll start to create a demand gen solution for your business that allows you to take it to the next level.
Great. Absolutely stellar advice, Liam. Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing your knowledge here and your expertise. And I think the people that are listening are definitely going to get some good information out of this. So we appreciate that.
Thanks, Sergio.
Thank you. This wraps today's episode. So everything we talked about today, you can find on our website. You can dig deeper at growmail.com. If there's a topic you want us to talk about in the future, send it our way, cs@growmail.com. I'm Sergio. That's Liam. Thanks for thanks for watching the GrowMail Podcast. Send smarter, grow faster, and appreciate you tuning in. Thanks, everyone.